Alien. 4 days ago, the Pentagon released 162 classified files on unidentified aerial phenomenon. Videos, images, military reports going back decades. And they told the world we cannot explain what these are. Millions of people are now asking, what are these things? I'm not one of those people because I already know. I have met them. I've had personal experiences with them. When I was a child, every night the same thing would happen. A woman would appear. I remember brunette. She wore red, silver lining around her top, and next to her was a creature. It had a strange nose, hair clipped to the side, and they would say one word, come. I would go into a strange paralysis. My body would lock, and then they would take me onto a ship. Every single night this happened. One time they took me to a place I did not even know existed. They called it something like Amazonia. It was full of green lush, and there were women warriors everywhere. No men, just women. At first, these beings were my friends. They presented themselves as a sort of guide. But over time, they changed. They became dark, demonic. They started shape-shifting. They were never what they first appeared to be. As a child, I was pulled into a sort of poltergeist activity. I began to visit hell regularly. The encounters that started as friendly became something else entirely. Now, I know some of you watching may have experienced that, so please comment beneath. I would love to hear some of your own experiences of anything of that kind. Now, I know how that sounds, but I'm telling you what actually happened, because what the Pentagon just released 4 days ago connects to something I have lived through, and something the Bible has been saying for thousands of years. And 2 nights ago, it happened again. Now, I live near Heathrow. I see planes every day. I know what a plane looks like. I was lifting my kids out of the car. I looked up and I saw an object, a triangle with a circle glowing. It wasn't angelic bright, but it was almost neon. It moved in a way that is impossible. It had no drag, no resistance. It just moved over the house, and then poof, it was gone. I told my wife, and she said, please stop, because I was scaring Yana, our little baby. She'll say she won't sleep at night. Now, Tap community, tapped in, welcome back.
Tap in. Tap in. Yeah, we breaking the code. Truth on the mic, let the fire explode. Faith in the facts, yeah, we carry the load. This the Tap Podcast, let the whole world know. Let them know.
Today I'm going to tell you what God told me about aliens. But first, let me show you what the Pentagon just admitted to the world. 4 days ago, May the 8th, the Pentagon released 162 declassified files on unidentified aerial phenomenon, 28 videos, 14 images, military reports, pilot accounts, NASA transcripts from the Apollo missions, all on a new government website called Pursue. These are cases the government cannot explain. Their words, not mine, completely unresolved. Now, one of the videos went viral immediately, a 2013 military infrared clip, a glowing 8-pointed shape-shifting object moving through darkness. And here is what happened next. Millions of people looked at that and said the same thing. That looks like a seraphim. That looks like the beings described in Ezekiel. A pastor in Texas named Josh Horton posted on X. He said that I'm trying to point out is the possible overlap between a biblical cosmology and what you are seeing on your timeline. He quoted Ezekiel chapter 1, the wheel within the wheel, the living creatures.
Super confident in the reality of demons. If extraterrestrial life were discovered, that does not destroy your faith. Colossians 1 says this, he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation, for by him all things were created, both in, and then it says the heavens is plural, multiple heavens, and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones, dominions, rulers, or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. The biblical writers understood there to be three heavens. The first heaven was essentially the sky where the clouds are. The second heaven would have been where the stars are, what we know as outer space. And then they understood in the biblical cosmology, when Paul says, I was caught up to the third heaven, that's like actual heaven throne room of God. So when Colossians 1 says that he created all things in the heavens, if there were things that he created in the second heavens, outer space, well, hey guys, we have a category for that. They're called angels and demons. What a lot of people may be calling aliens, the Bible might call things like cherubim, seraphim, angels, archangels, thrones, principalities, demons, and powers. You are not going to find a human culture in all of human history that doesn't report some sort of things go bump in the night vibes. You live in a strange spiritual world where there is an unseen realm, and that stuff is real and really happened. I'll tell you why I think it's very frequently demonic manifestation. And again, this is all speculation. Ephesians 2 refers to Satan as, quote, the prince of the powers of the air. I think that's notable. In Matthew 24, Jesus is talking about what will happen at the end. He says, but about that day or hour, nobody knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father, because as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. I strongly encourage every single person not to get sucked into this. The Bible tells us to have nothing to do with the deeds of darkness. And if this is what we believe they are, I'm not going to mess with that stuff. One of Satan's strategies is to get people to devote themselves to myths and endless speculation. Hey man, you're supposed to keep the main thing the main thing. What's the main thing? To know Christ, live free, and change the world for God's glory. Don't start giving level 8 attention to things of level 0.002 importance. The last thing I'd say is, man, if you're a Christian, we don't do fear. Fear not. We don't do fear. Maybe you're not a Christian and you're going, dude, there at least seems to be something about what they just said. What I would say to you is, hey man, if there's a darkness, that means there's a light, and that light has a name, and his name is Jesus Christ. And the Bible gives us a promise for anybody that bends their knee to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Greater is he that is in you than, and I'll change it a little bit, than whatever.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna posted an image of the Ophanim, the angelic beings from Ezekiel, without a single word of caption. The Vice President of the United States has publicly said he believes some of these phenomena may be spiritual rather than extraterrestrial. Now, I want you to understand something. The Pentagon did not release these files and say these are aliens. They said we do not know what these are. And they told the public to make up their own minds. But I do not need to make up my mind because I have met these beings and God has shown me what they are. I believe, this is what the Lord has shown me, that what we are entering into is a time of real deception. These beings are not extraterrestrial in nature. They are disembodied spirits seeking a body. And they are using these phenomena as apparitions to prepare the world for the greatest lie in human history. And here is the lie. Scientists have reached a point where they know something had to put us here. The Big Bang needs a miracle. Something had to start it. And so these beings, I've encountered them many times. They call themselves wisdoms. They will come and they will say, we created humanity. We ourselves are created by a supreme force. And now it is our job to bring you to the next level, your evolution. It is a pantheon, a group of gods like the Greeks, like the Mayans, like the Egyptians. And this is why you see spaceships and large-headed figures on ancient walls. Ecclesiastes says, there is nothing new under the sun. If you want to understand the future, look at the past. These beings have been here before, and they're coming back. Genesis chapter 6 says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men. They came down, they slept with them, and they produced an offspring of giants. What did these sons of God look like to the daughters of men? They would have looked like aliens. They would have appeared beings descended from the sky, interacting with humanity and producing a hybrid race. This is not just in our Bible. Every ancient civilization on earth has recorded of beings coming down from the sky and mixing with humanity. Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, every single one without fail. The Book of Enoch goes further. It says, in the days of Enoch, it was not just the angels mixing with humans, it was species mixing with species, human with animal, animal with animal, transhumanism before the word ever even existed. And Jesus said this, as it was in the days of Noah, so it shall be in our day. I believe the old fertility gods are coming back. They've been hiding, but they're returning for the final great deception. The paranormal will become normal, expected and accepted. The CIA got involved in Hollywood to desensitize us through movies. And then these beings will present themselves not as demons, but as creators. And many will believe it. I believe certain institutions will fall for this. The Roman Catholic Church is already compromised, in my opinion. Look at the symbology, the Freemasonry, the fluidity. The Church of England will be fluid with it. But the Church of God will say, no, this is demonic. This is a deception. And we have seen this before. Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. If you want to be prophetic, look at the past. It is going to repeat itself. 162 files dropped this week. Politicians are comparing the footage to biblical angels. The Vice President of the United States is saying this could be spiritual. And I'm telling you, I have met these beings. They call themselves wisdoms, and they are not your friends. They tried to hijack me prophetically as a child. So what do we do? 2,000 years ago, Pontius Pilate looked at Jesus and asked, what is truth? That question has never been more relevant than now. We live in a world that has invented a phrase called my truth. There is no such thing as my truth. There is objective reality, and one day every one of us will stand before an objective God who will stand as judge, who has commandments. Do not lie, do not murder, do not steal, do not cheat. These are not suggestions. These are structures of reality, absolute laws. The Bible talks about a curse on those who remove the ancient landmarks, the old ways, the fixed points, the principles that do not move because the culture moved. This is about life, a life of principles, not a life of emotion and fear. People are too emotional, too open, too easily swayed. And the closer we are to truth, real, objective, biblical truth, the more aligned we are with God and the harder we are to deceive. So here's your tap-in point. 1, get back to truth. Know your Bible, Genesis 6, Ezekiel 1, the Book of Enoch, the days of Noah. The framework for what is happening is already written. Read it. 2, do not be afraid. Be discerning. Fear makes you a target, makes you controllable. Discerning makes you dangerous to the enemy. 3, teach your children the truth. I always say this. This generation will be asked to accept things no previous generation had to face. They need to know the difference between a sign and a deception. 4, develop your economy. The Bible says money answers all things, and because the enemy knows that, he wages a war against believers in the area of finance. If you want to be free, you need to be financially literate and financially strong. That is why we built TAP, to help you get your financial life in order, so that when the world shifts, you are not dependent on the systems you do not trust. That's one of the reasons we built it. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be. But Noah was not caught off guard. He was warned, he was prepared, and he survived. And the God of Noah is your God. Make sure to tap in. Join us on Telegram. The link is in the description. I'm Tobi Arayomi. You've been tapped. Now go and do likewise.